How can we define the word strange? In simple words, anything that we don't understand is strange. And if we compare this definition with our very universe, everything that it contains is strange. Scientists have recently discovered one such strange planet in space, and it's nothing like anything we can ever imagine. Nicknamed Super-Saturn, scientists have stumbled upon what may be a giant planet with rings 200 times the size of Saturn's. This bizarre planet has 37 rings surrounding it that span an astonishing 30 million miles across. In fact, the ring system is so massive and dense that if the planet orbited around the Sun, the rings would be visible right here on Earth at night. So, where exactly is this weird planet? Let's find out. Welcome to Space World. In today's video, we are going to talk about a strange planet discovered by NASA. So if you want to know more about it, then stay with us until the end of the video. In 1610, after he built his telescope, Galileo Galilei first spotted enormous Saturn's gigantic rings. More than 400 years later, astronomers have, in a sense, dwarfed that discovery, with a similar first. Using powerful optics, they have found a much larger planet-like body, J147b, with rings 200 times the size of Saturn's, US and Dutch astronomers said. Astronomers say they have found the first ringed planet beyond our solar system, a superworld with a girdle of halos 200 times bigger than Saturn's, called J147b. The giant has a disk of 30-odd rings, which is so vast that had it been around Saturn, it would have dominated our night sky. It'd be huge. You'd see the rings and the gaps in the rings quite easily from Earth, Matthew Kenworthy of Leiden Observatory in the Netherlands said. It'd be several times the size of the full moon. Unlike Galileo peering a relatively short distance through his simple telescope, today's astronomers can't eyeball the rings hundreds of light years away, but using two very powerful optical devices with 8 cameras each, they can observe the effect the rings have as they pass across nearby star J1407, written without a B at the end. It is similar to our Sun as the rings of planet J1407b eclipse its light. Professor Kentworthy and Eric Mamajek of New York's University of Rochester trawled through a database of millions of stars photographed by telescopes around the world in an exoplanet search project called SuperWasp. According to the data revealed, exoplanets and worlds beyond our solar system are observed from Earth through changes in the brightness of their central star. The light is partly blocked, generally for a few hours, when the planet passes between Earth and its star, which is usually referred to as an eclipse. In the case of star J1407, the astronomers observed an unusual and active light display that lasted 2 months. According to scientists, some of J1407b's 30 rings are denser, blocking lighter, and some of them are less dense, letting more light through. And there are gaps between the rings, leading the scientists to theorize that exomoons have formed and cut clean orbits through the debris, like the moons around Saturn. Our own solar system's ringed giant has at least 60 moons, according to NASA. Data on the star was gathered between 2005 and 2008, and right slap bang in the middle of the year 2007, the light curve goes crazy. It suddenly starts flickering and twinkling. It was a very strange-looking thing that nobody had ever seen before, Professor Kenworthy said. The team concluded the only explanation was a vast disk of spaced rings around the planet that had moved between Earth and J1407, blocking the starlight in bursts. This is the first time somebody's seen such a giant ring system outside the solar system. Any ring structure at all around what we think is a planet, Professor Kenworthy said. The research has been accepted for publication by the Astrophysical Journal, he added. In addition, the rings begin at a distance of about 30 million kilometers from the planet and stretch out to a distance of 90 million kilometers. And they are probably made of dust, as planet J1407b is too hot, around 1,000 to 2,000 degrees Celsius, to support ice rings like those orbiting Saturn. Professor Kenworthy said the planet itself was probably about 10 to 40 times the mass of Jupiter. J1407 and its planet are about 16 million years old, which makes it an infant in terms of stellar age. The Sun and Earth are 4.5 billion years old. Professor Kenworthy said the find provided the first direct evidence for theories about planetary ring formation. It is widely believed that big clouds of gas and dust collapse to form stars orbited by a thick disk of debris. This later collects into planets, themselves orbited by rings of debris that clump together over a few million years to form moons. If our hypothesis is true, and it, J1407b, really is a ring system, and we think it is the best explanation, then this is the first direct evidence of that process, Professor Kenworthy said. Furthermore, the study of the planet has revealed that the distant world known as J1407b, and first noticed years ago, orbits a star located about 430 light-years from Earth, relatively nearby in cosmic terms. As enormous as the planet itself is, giant worlds aren't especially unusual among the 2,000 or so exoplanets confirmed by astronomers so far. But this planet is the first to be suspected of having a ring system like Saturn's, except it's so big that if Saturn's rings were this size, they'd stretch halfway to Jupiter. However, the first discovery of the giant rings was completely accidental. In 2011, Mark Picot, then a graduate student at the University of Rochester in New York, was looking at data from the Super-WASP exoplanet search. He was interested in stars, not planets, but the Super-WASP archive had data on these as well, and in particular on the rotation rates of young stars in a group known as the Scorpius-Centaurus Association. All of the stars looked unremarkable, except one. During the study, Picot noticed an odd waxing and waning of the star's light, says co-author Eric Mamajak of the University of Rochester. And when I first saw his printout, I knew we had found something remarkably weird. Instead of dimming slightly for a few hours, as would happen if a planet passed in front of the star, this star had flickered for about 2 months, dimmer for a while, then a little brighter, then dimmer again, according to Kenworthy. At first, you think you're just looking at noise in the camera, but the information was extraordinarily clear. It's one of the most beautiful data sets I've ever seen, he says. After that, the astronomers realized right away that they might be looking at a system of rings passing in front of the star. But for the rings' passage to last 2 months, they would have to be gigantic, much larger than any ever seen before. The team worked hard to see if there could be another explanation. Individual clouds of dust dimming the star, for example. In 2012, after a year of consideration, they announced their find. Even then, the claim of a giant ring system was audacious. It was met with a lot of raised eyebrows. Therefore, the new analysis has eased the skepticism somewhat by nailing down the ring's structure more precisely and showing how the rings would produce just the pattern of flickering the astronomers saw. Like its system of rings, planet J1407b is also much larger than Saturn, said astrophysicist Eric Mamajak, whose team at the University of Rochester discovered the object. You could think of it as kind of a Super-Saturn. And this is it for today, guys. What are your thoughts on today's video? Share your views with us in the comments below. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell icon for more amazing videos about space. And thank you for watching.